الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي أنزل القرآن في شهر رمضان والذي خلقنا وكل شيء بنعمته وخلق السماوات والأرض والقمر والشمس والنجوم وكل مسكرات في الأوقات المعينة نحمده سبحانه وتعالى على جميع الإحسان وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة تنجي قائلها من النيران وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد أولاد عدنان صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم صلاة وسلاما دائمين متلازمين عباد الله تبارك وتعالى يقول يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون وأيضا شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخرى يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما آتاكم لعلكم تشكرون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلي لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. We thank Allah that we are grateful to the merciful one. We are shown His mercy by revealing the Quran in the month of Ramadan. He is the one that has created us and all other things from His mercy. He is the creator of the heaven and the earth. He created the moon and the sun and all other stars, and all of them, they pass on their appointed time and they never clash. We thank Him most sincerely for His blessings on us. We also thank Him for His honor and for sparing our life. We testify that there is no other deity worthy of worship besides this Allah, the one, the unique, whose uniqueness in bearing His uniqueness saves one from hellfire. We also testify that our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, that is His messenger and servant, the leader of all the children of Adnan, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, those who follow him, members of his household until the day of Qiyamah. Servant of Allah, Allah tells us in the glorious Quran that you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you as it has been prescribed for those before you, so that you can be conscious of God. I also say the month of Ramadan. It is the month in which the Quran was revealed, a guide for the entire mankind, and a clear proof that is also something that separates falsehood from truthfulness. Quran now says that whomever is alive when the moon is sighted, that person must fast. That Quran says, but in case some of you are sick or you are on the road, that you are exempted, but you should return the one that you have missed when Ramadan goes. Allah says He intends easiness with you. He does not intend any harshness with you, so that you will be grateful to Allah. And Allah says the essence of this, that when you complete all the one you have missed, at the end of it, Allah says it's guiding you that you should know that Almighty Allah has done this for you, so that you can be grateful to Him. For you who believe, Ya Allah, and always say the right thing at the right time. If you do this, Allah will cleanse you of your bad work. He forgives you of your sin, and will forever follow Allah and His Messenger, as indeed we give Him the greatest of all the gifts. Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen. We thank Allah once again that we are grateful to Him for His mercy on us. Like joke, when last year's Ramadan ended, we were thinking that it is far, and within the twinkle of an eye, another Ramadan is just here before us. To Allah, we are very grateful to you. Those that you have taken their life between now and today, to Allah, forgive them. It is not that we are better than them, but it's just your decision to take to do it the way you have wanted. Allah, those that you have taken their life, that are Muslims among them, may Allah forgive them all. 1,001 people were also sick, and many people are also in the custody, not because of the sin of their own, but Allah, you know the reason why. Give them the opportunity to be free and to worship you the way they wanted. I've said, today there has been a guy that we should look for the moon. I think it was yesterday, because no place has moon been sighted yesterday. Some people say that the moon will be sighted today, will be sighted in the night of yesterday stroke today around 1. The meaning is that if you use machine to sight it that way, you cannot start fasting and assume that fasting has commenced without the physical sight. And that is why Islam is quite different from any other religion. Like you know, fasting, like prayer, is an act of worship, and it is the fourth pillar of Islam. It starts with the sighting of the moon and it ends with it. You cannot say you want to go and see the moon by yourself. If it has been sighted by a group of people and an authority confirms it, then the leader, for us in Nigeria, it is only Sultan that will announce to us. No matter how intelligent you are, no matter how knowledgeable you have, Allah has not placed you in that position of authority to say it. The only person that will ask us to start fasting is Sultan. May Allah continue to support him. But our thinking, those of us who know that Muslims, some people are so arrogant. They feel that they are knowledgeable, they have seen it, and they can start things on their own. Even if Sultan makes mistake, he's the one that Allah will ask. He will not ask me and you. Why don't we be patient and we follow him, whatever he says? Because we know nobody is going to hold us responsible. He's the one that Allah will hold responsible. Why don't you even be happy that somebody that will carry your own body instead of you to think you know, and you carry body that which you do not know anything about? And also, Islam has allowed us to search for the moon with scientific proofs, with scientific methods. Like I've said in the beginning, when you see it, it is seen by science, the old physical eye must also confirm the sighting of the moon, which now marks the commencement of Ramadan. From all indication, since the moon has been sighted by machine in the night, so it means this night it will be sighted. It means tomorrow, by the special grace of Allah, Ramadan commences. As we all know, Ramadan fasting was institutionalized in the second year of Hijrah. That is when the Prophet ﷺ got to Medina. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected the ninth lunar month for a very obvious reason. The lunar month rotates and share all seasons and weathers in the course of time. The month of Ramadan will accordingly come in every weather and season. Muslims all over the world have the experience of fasting in winter as well as in summer, in shorter days as well as in longer days. Muslims all over the globe will equally share the benefit and hardship of fasting during all weathers. This wouldn't have been so if fasting has been prescribed according to the solar month. Tabarakallah ahsanul khaliqin. If we look at it very well, that we have been fasting during rainy season in the last 8 years. But if you see the way that we are going now, little by little, we are moving into hot season when we will experience fasting when it is very hot. It means we have to be prepared. That Almighty Allah is a wonderful God that will give us the opportunity that it is not only in a particular period that we are going to experience it. Many people have been experiencing it in a very hot season, some in a very wet season, and some at a time when it is very easy to fast. There are some especially the rich among us. Many of them, they are running to Europe now because they say fasting in Europe and America is going to be very easy because they are going to fast when it is very cold and they will not bear the pain of hunger. Wherever you run to, fasting is still fasting. You are still going to experience it the way everybody is going to experience it. When fasting is about starting like this, Muslims should make a very elaborate preparation and arrangement for the month of fasting, spiritually and socially. Unnecessary business tours should be cancelled so that you concentrate on the worship of Allah. We do not know which one will be our last, and that is why we should fast as if we are fasting our last one on earth. Whatever we do, Allah should accept it from us as Muslims. We should also get up early in the morning before dawn and offer nafila prayer before taking our early morning food. It is important that we wake up in the night. We should say our intention before taking the sahur in the first day of Ramadan to cover the 29 or 30 days of fasting. Or if you like, you can be making your intention every day that you want to fast Ramadan. If you like, you can combine that, oh Allah, I want to fast the month of Ramadan for 29 or 30 days. If I'm not sick, Bismillah. And that is just the intention. The way I've just put it, you can do it that way. I know if you can do it in Arabic, it means you understand it more than the way I've said it. Then also, we should re-emphasize here that it is the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to eat before the commencement of the early morning, before the commencement of the fasting in the early morning, before that. According to Anas, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Take a meal a little before dawn, for there is a blessing in taking a meal at that time." Perhaps most of us do not know. Taking a meal at that early morning, it shows how important Almighty Allah is to you. Everybody knows that it is not easy for many people to eat in the night, and it is in the afternoon that we can always eat. If you now stand up to eat in the morning, early morning, despite the fact that it's not convenient for you, that is one of the reasons why Allah asks us to fast now, so that we can be conscious of God. If you eat at that time, it means that you are eating for Almighty Allah, and you have a reward that Allah will give you. But many of us will say, I don't eat. You just put small water. Yes, ordinary small gargle of water is enough, but it's better. Even just one grain of rice, put it in your mouth, and you know that you are doing it for Almighty Allah. But do not just consciously abandon it that because you don't have any problem. You have problem because you are missing a lot of things if you decide not to eat anything in the morning. The question now is, what about those who don't have anything to eat? All of us should answer that. During the days of fasting, a Muslim is expected to use the opportunity of Ramadan fasting to be closer to his Creator, as it is a period of spiritual reawakening. It is a period of spiritual training and a time of making the impossibilities possible by the grace of Almighty Allah. All unnecessary sporting activities, all unnecessary sporting activities and pastime should be set aside this period. Our devotion should be increased. Reading of the glorious Quran should be of paramount importance in our mind. We should know that between the Quran and Ramadan, there is a connection. Between Quran and Ramadan, there is a link. Allah says, Shahru Ramadan, Ladhi Undila fi el Quran. Allah said the month of Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed. Then you are getting connected with Almighty Allah through what He has revealed in Ramadan. So it means you have double honor, you have double opportunity before Almighty Allah. And we should all be careful with our phone now, because it is the greatest enemy that we are all facing. I was listening to a New York mayor who was saying that if he has a way that they are going to ban phone in schools so that their children will concentrate. Many of us we have lost bearing in the name of phone. You see so many people, even when we are praying, when their phone is ringing, they have lost concentration. When they are reading the Quran, when they see their phone blinking, they have lost concentration. And everything in their mind is, it is that phone. If you ask them, with that phone that rang, what did you get there? Wallahi, most of us will not answer anything because we just feel psychologically satisfied. that we are holding our phone. Don't worry. When you enter your grave, you will go there with your phone. And it is then you will realize the futility of the thing which we are holding. Many of us, we should tell our parents, we should tell our children, we should tell our wives, we should tell our friends, we should tell people that are close to us. I'm not saying we should not hold our phone. If your phone will be a distraction to what Allah has given to you, you should talk to yourself that this is not going to be useful for you. If your phone, you are going to use it as an ibadah, because we cannot say drop the phone completely. Many of us, our phone can take us even to paradise. As you are reading, their Quran is there, their Hadith is there. There are things that will guide them to the best is in their phone. But the moment you know that it is only on social media you are, or things that will discourage you, I beg you in the name of God, and I beg you in the name of the deity, I will be lonely before your God. Drop that phone, because it might take you to the place where you do not want. As Muslims, this is the time that Quran should be most important to us. That is the tafsir of the Quran. And Alhamdulillah, we are establishing a super Quranic tafsir in the mosque. I think we are starting from Monday by the special grace of Allah, that we will be able to ask questions. We will be able to relate it to the way in which we live our life. It will not be for Quran purposes, but for Quran to be able to relate with our life, with the modern life. How do we now relate our life with the Quran? Many of us do not know that there is nothing new on earth that Quran has not spoken about. And there is nothing on earth that we cannot guide our life with the Quran. That is if we know, but do not assume that you know. Join us, and we'll be there together. Also, our tahajjud, night prayers, should be increased during this time. Those who can afford it, they used to select Ramadan as their leave period. They leave period because in the material things, but it is not a leave period before Almighty Allah. Those of us who know us, we have some people by the time Ramadan comes, many of them they have taken their bed into the mosque. Between now until the second day of Salah, that is the time you will see them leaving the mosque. Many of them will be in the mosque for 30, 31 days, preparing and working for Almighty Allah. As they are working for themselves, they work for the community, and they work for the grave that they will be lonely in by the time we all leave this world. Do not allow us to waste this Ramadan. When you take leave, you should use your leave to help humanity, to help Almighty Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used Ramadan to change humanity. What we are all enjoying today was actually a product of Ramadan of our noble Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He will never waste the time of Ramadan. It is even one of the first one that Muhammad started that led to the revelation of the Quran. Because he used to live and want to change the community. You and I, as we are sitting down, there are so many opportunities for us to change the way in which we live. Ramadan can be a very good time for us to decide on how we are going to do it, when we are going to do it, and the modus operandi that is going to take for us to do it. Also, the Prophet ﷺ said that nothing is too big to give to a sadaqah to a fasting Muslim. Muslims, we should be ready to sacrifice anything that Almighty Allah has given to us. We should not think that we are poor. We should not think that we do not have anything to give, and that is why we cannot give. We used to even make a mistake, thinking that it is only the rich people alone that are the one that must be doing sadaqah. Many of us used to cut ourselves away, thinking that we cannot do sadaqah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us that so many things could be used for sadaqah. There is a man who has taken it upon himself in this mosque that every day in the month of Ramadan is to come and be cleaning the mosque, himself and the people from his office. If you come here during Ramadan, despite the fact that people are using it to eat, you'll be shocked that you won't see a single death in the mosque. It is somebody who has decided that that is the way you want to be doing his own sadaqah. The meaning is that all of us, Almighty Allah, has given us different opportunity. He has given us different power. He has given us different gifts that we should use as sadaqah during this month of Ramadan. Whatever you know that Allah has given you, do not hesitate to use it in the way of Allah during this month of Ramadan. As we are approaching Ramadan, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, give a fasting person water to drink. Allah will grant you a drink from my fountain, such drink wherein you shall ever again not feel thirsty until you enter Al-Jannah. That hadith also is another thing that I want us to think about. In this month, I mentioned it some times ago. There was a time we started to be feeding people. A time was there that we want to start the feeding and we do not have money. We do not have 1 naira to start buying food for people. One of our leaders in the mosque, he went and sold one of his cars and we used the money to commence the feeding. As I'm talking to you, the person is actually inside this mosque as I'm talking, and I will continue to pray that Allah should continue to reward him. This time around, perhaps many of us are not aware. As of last year, we were feeding about 2,500 people. Then what do you imagine that the number that we'll be feeding every day during this month of Ramadan? That is why I always tell people, if you are in this month, Ramadan is a time of all-round work for humanity and for Almighty Allah. There's something for all of us. We should learn how to do things better. We should learn how to help ourselves, and we should learn how to prepare for the time when we will not have any power again. Ramadan provides us an opportunity for us to be able to do things for other people. Ramadan provides us with an opportunity to help other people in such a way that only Allah will reward you. Ramadan also gives you an opportunity. When you give some people food, they will not even know that you are the one giving them, and their prayers will also be on you all other time. Do not hesitate, and wherever you find yourself, to help others during this month of Ramadan. Whatever you do, rest assured, is being written by Almighty Allah. A Muslim does not eat, does not drink or smoke, and undergo severe and rigorous discipline during the month of fasting because of his faith in Allah and for his love and fear of the punishment of Almighty Allah. Fasting also brings us closer to each other to renew their brotherly ties. And this is also taking us to another area of the people that Almighty Allah has blessed. I used to hear some Nigerians, they will tell you that they are going to Saudi Arabia to go and do their fasting. They said the entire 30 periods, they will be in Saudi Arabia fasting. Yes, you have a lot of reward. The Prophet ﷺ said, those who go to Umrah during the month of Ramadan, it's like those who have performed Hajj. But there is a condition for that hadith. Many of us are just quoting hadith from upside down. The Prophet ﷺ said, anybody who has intention of performing Hajj and he could not perform Hajj and he goes for Umrah during Ramadan, he said, Allah will give him reward as somebody who has performed Hajj. It is not meant for all of us that hadith work for. That hadith means those who could not perform Hajj because of good reason and they now perform Umrah during Ramadan, they are the one that reward will be like Hajj. You abandon your family. Probably you and your wife, you only travel for Hajj, for Ramadan. And you said you are in Ramadan, you are in Mecca. When for 30 days I'll be in Mecca, I always laugh at them. See people who don't actually understand what they are saying. How do you leave your people? The month of Ramadan is a month of brotherhood. It's a month in which we come together. It's a month in which we help ourselves. If because Allah has blessed you, you now run away from people thinking that you are doing ibadah. I'm not saying Allah will not accept it, but that ibadah is not a complete one. We should think that the month of Ramadan is a month of brotherhood. It's a month in which the family comes together, in which the family eats together, in which the family prays together, in which the family they look forward with hope with Almighty Allah together. It is not when you now abandon them, thinking that you are better than them, and you are in Saudi Arabia for 30 days. I always ask, doing what for Allah's sake? The Almighty Allah accept whatever we do as an act of ibadah. Fasting does a lot of good to the physical health of the person. It gives stomach a rest during the day when nothing is eaten or drunk and provide us with the opportunity to do what we call annual cleaning. Perhaps we do not appreciate Ramadan until you understand why the fuel is not available in Nigeria again. That is what they call the turning around maintenance. That at a certain time, you have to maintain the facility which you have gotten. Our body also needs a time to maintain the facility that Almighty Allah has given to it. And that opportunity to clean the facilities in our body, it is during the month of Ramadan, when you'll be able to fast and you'll be able to clean your system. Your body will rest and your system will have the opportunity of regrowth. It also teaches man self-control and self-restraint in order to overpower his sensual lust and conquer his physical desire. He does not eat, he does not drink when he wishes, or when his appetite is strong. He does that when he's only allowed to do so. Perhaps many of us would not appreciate that. That if eating in the month of Ramadan, it is a time when you eat, you have reward, and a time when you do not eat, you have reward. This is one special time that makes us to appreciate Almighty Allah. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how strong you are, the moment you are fasting, no matter what you have eaten in Suhoor, by the time you get to between 12 and 3, no matter how strong, you become very weak. And you will know that God is not from your local government. Whatever anybody is saying, you'll be ready to listen to it as far as it is the work of Allah. And that is why you see most tafsir is around 4. Around that time, you will not have strength to do anything. Around that time, you will not have much strength to be walking up and down. But instead of you to waste it, come and sit down and be listening to the word of Almighty Allah. It will help you and it will also promote you. Ramadan also, it trains us to experience the reality of divine presence of Almighty Allah. It is only in Ramadan that you will be conscious that Allah is actually with you. When you have the key to your room, you have the food in your kitchen, and you have everything, you can off the light and eat your food and clean your mouth and come out and say, today's fasting is very hard. But now I'm very sure no Muslim will do that because he was very sure that even if it is under the ground, Almighty Allah is there with him and will be conscious of the presence of the Supreme Being all the time with him. And that is one of the lessons of Ramadan. It is the only time that we experience God. Even when we are praying, we theorize on the presence of God. But Ramadan gives us the opportunity for us to see God face to face with our eyes. When you are praying, you only assume that God is looking at you. But when you are fasting, you know God is actually with you. You will not misbehave. You will not do anything that is wrong. You will try to do everything that is right all the time. And that is why the prophet has told us, when you are fasting, when somebody abuses or insults you, tell that person, I am fasting. That is the peak of what fasting is to teach us. Humility, patience, God consciousness, and respect for other people, and love for what he has created. And also, a more practical way to do this, it is during the itikaf. When the itikaf comes, that is the last 10 days of Ramadan. Then it gives you another opportunity for you to be able to get close to your God. It is the only time that a man can leave his family for more than 5 days, for more than 3 days, without doing anything except to worship Almighty Allah. Perhaps most of us do not know. Men who want to leave house for itikaf, they must take opportunity, they must take permission from their wife, or their wife should be aware this is where they are going. The Holy Prophet was reported to have said that all deeds of sons of Adam are for them except fasting, which is for me, and I will give reward for it. Fasting strengthens the spiritual power of a man and clarifies his mental and spiritual vision for seeing and experiencing the multifarious manifestation of Allah. We pray that Almighty Allah, this fasting is fast approaching and we are close. Allah give us the opportunity to do it the way that will be pleasing to Him. The Prophet was reported to have said that من صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر الله له ما تقدم من ذنبه. That he who fasts the way Allah has prescribed it with faith and the way it has been prescribed to do it. He said, Allah said that He will forgive all His sins that He has forgiven before. We pray that Allah will give us the opportunity to forgive, to have His forgiveness based on the things that we are able to do. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. Allah commands justice, the doing of good and liberty to it and king. He forbids all shameful deeds, injustice and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. We use this opportunity to invite us to our Ramadan lecture, which is coming on Sunday by the special grace of Allah. We are choosing a particular topic that we are all missing, the wakaf. Many of us do not know that we can actually change our life with wakaf, both by the giver and by the taker. Allahumma rabbana taqabbal minna ta'ati fi shahrika shahru Ramadan. اللهم اننا نستغفرك من كل ذنب تبت اليه منه ثم عدنا فيه اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما اخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا، أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. ربنا عليك توكلنا وعليك نبنا وعليك المصير. ربنا افتح بيننا وبين قومنا بالحق وأنت خير الفاتحين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. قوموا.